Number 24. A square is inscribed in a circle. The radius of the circle is 20 square root of 2 over 2 inches. What is the side length in inches of the square? I always like to draw things, especially when we're, talking about geometry. I love drawing it so I can see what I'm dealing with. Inscribed in a circle means I have a circle and there is a square and all 4 points of the square are on the circle. That is what inscribed means. Okay, so the radius of the circle is 20 square root of 2 over 2 inches. The radius is, if I have a circle, it's a line that goes from the point in the middle, from the center, to a point on the edge. And it can be any point on the edge. The radius of the circle in any direction, it's always going to be the same. Well, if I have a square here, then the thing, since I'm trying to get to the side length of the square, that's my goal, to figure out any of these sides, how long are they? So how this radius reacts to or interacts with the square is what I need to be focused on. So what if I draw a line from the center to a corner of the square? And what if I can draw that accurately? About that. There we go. I'm trying. Let's go the other way. There we go. Okay, so I've just drawn a radius. It's going from the center of the circle, and it's also going to the edge of the circle. And it's on the circle, but it's also touching this square. So if I draw a second radius, I'm going to draw it the other direction with a different color. I've now made a diameter. Please forgive that it's not perfectly lined up. Yeah, I'm just freehanding with a stylus on a screen, so it's not perfect. Okay, so each of these radii is 20 square root of 2 over 2. So I have two of these. 20 square root of 2 over 2. So this length of this diameter, this diagonal of the square, it is both of those, is 20 square root of 2 over 2 times 2, because we have two of them. Now, 20 square root of 2 over 2, I say over 2, but it actually means divided by 2 when we're saying a fraction, when it's over 2. So if I divide something by 2 and then multiply it, that just undoes, right? I divide by 2, if I can write that correctly, divide by 2 and then multiply by 2, those cancel out. So that's what I've done here. 20 square root of 2 over 2 times 2. The over 2 times 2, they cancel out, and I'm just left with 20 square root of 2. Okay, I'm going to take this square out of the circle. I'm not going to really need the circle anymore. It has served its purpose. So I have the square, I've taken it out of the circle, and I know this across the length of it is 20 square root of 2, this diagonal. What happens when you draw a diagonal, as I hit my microphone with the stylus, what happens when you draw a diagonal through a square? I divide it into two triangles. Like that. Kind of like that. Oh, it bugs me. It bugs me when they're not drawn really well. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try to draw it a little better. Wow, that was horrible. All right, I give up. All right, so I make two triangles. They both have 90-degree angles. And because these over in the corners started as 90-degree angles when they were over here, and I'm splitting them in half, they are now 45-degree angles. So I've created two 45, 45, 90 right triangles. These are one of those patterns that they ask you to memorize. They do provide the formula for these and also for 30, 60, 90 right triangles. But if you have it in your head, it just saves you time. So for a 45, 45, 90 triangle, the pattern is you have the 90-degree angle, you got your 45 and your 45. The pattern, the way they usually write it is with A. I'm not sure why they picked A, but they did. Each of the two legs of the triangle, the two that are touching the right angle, are the same, and they're represented by this letter A. And the hypotenuse, the long side, the one that is opposite the right angle, is going to be A times the square root of 2. Hey, square root of 2. I just saw that. Where did I see that? All right, so I have this. I'm creating this triangle, and I'm just going to highlight it inside here, and I've established this as a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Boop. And so this 20 square root of 2 is the same as my A square root of 2. It is the hypotenuse. So each of these sides, and that's the goal, the side length, that's what I'm going to. Each of those is A. So if 20 times the square root of 2 is equal to A times the square root of 2, we want to solve for A. I'm going to undo what's been done to A. I'm going to divide by the square root of 2 to get rid of it. I'm going to do that on both sides. And I am just left with, since this is 20 times the square root of 2 divided by square root of 2, they cancel out. A is 20. And that is the side length in inches of my square. And that is A, 20.
Hey guys, this video was helpful or useful in any way. Please feel free to let the algorithm know about it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, even buy me a coffee if you're so inclined. Links for that down below as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a great day. See you later. Bye.